So, as I was having dinner, the train pulls into a side track and then backs into the station. We just pull straight out to the front.
House to inside movers.
I keep hearing things like they're going any second, and then we don't go.
Good evening to you as well. Understand, track 4 passenger lead, communications, no restrictions, over.
Track 4 passenger lead, signal indication, no restrictions. Thank you. Have a good night.
Okay, conduct your AC. You shoot up and turn the rear, over.
Taking it over there, over.
Okay, Amtrak 6, we can depart Denver whenever we get a clear signal, over.
Rio Amtrak 6, restricting at the 8 end.
Looking at restricting, thank you.
All right.
3.
At 8:45 p.m.
45.
we depart Denver Union Station. And there's a thunderstorm just up there that's been making a lot of lightning. Maybe we'll see some again.
There's a runner. Let's go to 39 over.
Good runner, going to 39. Thank you, out. Dr. on 39.
AC on 39.
Okay.
It was lightning like crazy, and now it won't do it for me.
Thank you.
I heard her. She can stop. Really nice of you. Yeah. Taking the head on landing switches. On the ground? Yeah, from the ground.
Well, that should be the, well, this will be the last shot of the evening, I think. Just still in Denver, heading out towards the west, but still kind of more or less in the middle of things, but not in the downtown anymore. So overnight, we're gonna go more or less due east across the whole eastern half of Colorado. There's quite a bit of distance to cover there. and then all the way across the length of Nebraska, which is a pretty long state. And we should be right around breakfast time in Omaha, which is, of course, in eastern Nebraska. I'm not sure if the sun will be up when we're there or not, but that's about what the schedule says, plus the amount we're currently late and running behind. And then tomorrow we'll have Iowa to cross from west to east, and Illinois to cross from west to east. Then we should get in sometime in the middle afternoon. It's Sunday, August 14th, 2022, the third day of the California Zephyr. It's 6:18 a.m. I just finished showering and all the good morning stuff, and the sun is just coming up. We're just outside of Omaha, I believe, Omaha, Nebraska. Certainly we're at the intersection of I-80 and I-480, which...
Amtrak 6, approach medium, west long. Approach medium on.
On my map of Omaha, puts us right at the southwest corner of that intersection. It doesn't look like we're in downtown Omaha, though. Maybe that's not where downtown is. Anyway. There's one of the interstates. I'm thinking that's probably, well, it's both of them. This is the intersection right here. Ramps galore. Arrival in Omaha is scheduled to be at 5:15, so we're still about an hour behind schedule. At least we haven't lost any. But there is a complication. Woke up this morning and none of the toilets in my car would flush anymore. And there is a flashing sign on the ceiling saying toilets are not flushing, and the attendant was going around locking all the doors, and he said the next sleeper car, the only other regular sleeper car, had the same problem, and the only ones that were flushing in the first class section were those in the crew car, which, you know, about half of it is being used for overflow sleeper car passengers. Who knows how long that one will hold out. I'm hoping they can service them here in Omaha. He had the opinion that the track was extremely rough overnight, just a lot of like snap rolling left and right. Stuff kept falling around in my room. A bunch of times overnight I had to get up and pick up stuff that had fallen all over and rolled around to different parts. And he said that sometimes when the track is really like that, it, you know, material in the septic tank or tanks sloshes around and hits the high level sensor, and it just locks out the toilets. Nothing will work anymore. So hopefully they're able to service that in Omaha, or it'll be a bad day. That leaves hardly any toilets left on the train. And you know, you can't have, the coach ones are probably having a similar issue. They have more people in the cars there. Yep, there's downtown Omaha. It's supposed to be a 15-minute stop here. And at least in my experience at stations where they're stopping for more than a few minutes. They usually have services. So here's Iowa, and Nebraska's just off here. Here's the border. And so we're in Omaha here now. And after doing that, the train's gonna drop back down, and we're gonna be running along Highway 34 for a good part of the day. So we'll be dropping back down here and going along. There'll be a stop at Creston and another one at Osceola, yeah. Then Ottumwa, then Mount Pleasant, and then Burlington on the Mississippi River, and that's where we cross the river. And then we'll continue in Illinois. Yeah, here's Iowa, here's the Illinois border at the Mississippi. So Burlington, we go up diagonally here, up to Galesburg. And then Princeton, following this diagonal road up here, past Kewanee, and going up to Princeton, and then more or less continuing up here past Mendota, and coming up to Naperville, and then over to Chicago. Omaha Station. We rolled out of Omaha just as quick as possible. Nothing got fixed. New conductor got on board. Nobody told him about it. Figure out which river this is later. All right, it's 8 a.m. and I just got back from breakfast. I forgot to take a picture of it. It was French toast with bacon and hot tea. I'm still not in the habit of taking pictures of my food, and it's something I only remember to do sometimes at viewer request. The other news is that both of the sleeper cars, none of the toilets are working in them as of about 6 a.m. Something wrong with the holding tanks, indicating that they're full, even though they probably aren't. At this time, the only functioning toilets associated with the sleepers are in the crew car, otherwise known as the transitional sleeper car, That's located behind the baggage car and in front of the regular sleepers. They're hoping that those hold out and don't have the same malady as the ones in the regular sleeper cars, or we'll be in big trouble. I have no idea if the ones in the coach cars are working, but the weather has gone down a little bit here. It's from the forecast looking to be a lot like this today, overcast and possibly rainy. But I don't expect to have a whole lot of scenery here on this stretch. I'll take some, but it won't be like it was in the mountains. So where are we at? Now it's getting up towards 5 after 8. Here's Iowa. And we've made our way from Omaha. Once again, we're going along Highway 34. Here, all the way across the state. And we've got now just east of Corning here, a little ways. So we've gone that far so far this morning since whatever time it was, around 6 a.m. or so that I last checked. Well, it's just a few minutes later, and we just recently went through the town of Prescott, Iowa at 8:30. At 8:30, we're halfway between Creston and Afton. And again, it's bouncy enough here, I cannot hold my camera any more stably than that. That was U.S. Highway 169 that we just passed under. Just on the north side of the town of Afton. That's U.S. Highway 34, the highway we're paralleling for the day, or for the morning at least. At 8:47 a.m., we're just a couple miles outside of Osceola, or is it Osceola, Iowa. I've done a lot of work for a facility in Osceola, and that's the way the guys there pronounced it, but the train conductor is pronouncing it Osceola, so I'm not really sure. At 8:52, we're rolling into Osceola. And we're pulling into the station here.
Going to Amtrak. Benny? That'll do. Amtrak, let's highball the lane block. Number 6, highball the lane block. 5356.
Pulling out of Osceola. At 8:56.
Amtrak 6, auto clear over. Alright, clear out.
We're just out on the west side of the town of Lucas, Iowa. US Highway 34 is just to the north of us, probably just a couple fields away there, and it's converging with the route of our tracks. About ready to cross US Highway 34. What are you going to go under it? What are we going to do here? It looks like we'll go under it. .921, we're into Chariton, Iowa. Or Chariton. Chariton. And that's right here on the map, so a bit east of where Des Moines is. So we're certainly a good halfway across the state of Iowa at this point. At 10:10 a.m. we're passing just north of Chillicothe, Iowa. Oh, bumpy. There's a coal-fired power generating plant, a small one there. And the location is here. So we're coming up on Ottumwa. I think this is the Des Moines River here. Either that or a tributary thereof. We're certainly close to it. At 10:17 a.m. we pull into Ottumwa, Iowa. The schedule says we should have been here at 9, so we're about an hour and 17 minutes running late by that amount. And I looked it up, by the way, and according to every place I found online, it's Ottumwa, not Ottumwa. So apparently the people I talk to who work here know how to pronounce the name of their town. And the conductor of this train does not. Ottumwa is where US Highway 34 and US Highway 63 intersect. They've got no roof on their on their cover here. Looks like no roof. Apparently that charmless building is the station. I'm not sure which fly-by-night architect designed that ugly structure.
Need immediate assistance in the crew car. Immediate assistance in the 540 car.
Immediate assistance in a 540.
At 10:31, we're pulling out of Ottumwa.
Alright, traffic number 730-15. Train, today's date. Exit bus 2 proceed from control point 2502 to CTC Lucas Street on lane number 2. This one has one box mark 2. Okay, time 10:28. Dispatcher AGL.
Doesn't seem like the town burghers of Ottumwa want to put a lot of maintenance into their train station. I assume they own it, not Amtrak. Got a temporary fence with sandbags holding it down. Got some hills here in Ottumwa. The Clean Laundry, it says. There's some good hills back there. At 11 o'clock, we're out in the fields here between Fairfield and Lockridge. There's Fairfield, there's Lockridge, so we're somewhere here just on the north side of Highway 34.
Main 1, no defects. Repeat, no defects. Total axle 4, 0, out.
So again, just north of Highway 34. Between those two towns. Okay, at 11:14 we're pulling into Mount Pleasant, Iowa. The schedule has us being here about 10 o'clock, so we're still running about an hour, 15 minutes behind schedule. I guess the bulk of the station's on the other side of the train.
Number 6, Mount Pleasant, Iowa.
There's the whistle. And pulling out of Mount Pleasant at 11:18 a.m.
BNSF detector. Milepost 229.9. Main defect. Repeat, no defects. Total axle 2, 6, out.
fastest I'm aware of this train going on this trip, although it might have gone faster last night when I was sleeping. Across Nebraska, maybe. That's interesting. They've got like one row of something different planted. Huh.
Chariton 41. So once again, we got Lawrence, Carol, and Karen. Come see me today.
Total axle 40 out.
We're between Middletown and West Burlington at this point in time, which is 10:38 a.m. Pretty much in West Burlington now.
Concourse now making last call for lunch.
At 11:44, we're in Burlington, Iowa, and working our way down from the higher elevation on the west side of town down to river level at the east side of town. There's a natural sort of gully that makes its way from northwest down to the central east part of town, and the tracks sort of follow that down. They start out in a wooded area, but then it starts having houses and buildings on either side.
Oh, yes, please. All right, you gonna wrap your sandwich? Yes. All right, I'm gonna shoot you out. That's cool. Okay. Huh? All right. Oh, okay. All right. All right, man. Take care of yourself. Now it's been a pleasure. Yeah, it's been a pleasure. Thank you very much. No, they done. What's happening is they ain't letting the top part of the stem get strong enough to hold the road up. They cut them too soon. This part here ain't got no strength. Like the bottom. Oh yeah. Yeah, so that they fold over. I just put them out like yesterday. Well, it's nice to have. Oh yeah. Thank you. Yeah. Oh yeah. Okay. Yeah, we got a cook, a lady, everything. Okay. All right. Thank you. We appreciate it.
So, like I said, this track is sloping downhill, and so do the roads. One time when I was in Burlington doing something else, I made a point of zigzagging up all of these streets here trying to follow the track, because I couldn't figure out how it got from river level up to the higher level.
Yeah, it's like back there. We used to go over there and order take that. Pretty good then. What are you going to do after ride back and I know you guys are trying. And then now my experience with a lot of retail people they hire. Yeah. Job. Does. Yeah, I don't think they're there for work. Right.
We're passing under U.S. Highway 34 at this point, and it's going to cross the river just over there. Well, Not just over there, a few blocks in that direction.
Just remind me.
Yeah, I should
That's like somebody check on her. In case you don't even. Oh yeah, I guess we're making a noise. She has a picture of the cat. So bad. The routing number's not right. Nothing's right. It doesn't have the emblem of the.
Okay, so we sold that. We found that on in, okay.
And then she shot my wife was mother-in-law. And then she sent me a picture and I looked at that and I'm like, oh, God's free husband. Anybody cash them. I got them online. It was $5 or something just one day. My credit card, they saw that on my credit card. Well, I don't live it anyway, but something like that. Yeah. Well,
And that was North Central Avenue we just crossed under.
Oh, I think I came from. Okay. And I think it's next door over. I can see the roof there. Good talking to you.
Well, thanks, Rick.
Good. Wasn't that late?
I owe something for the beer.
That's all. Nope. Gas or cola?
You can see the top of the suspension towers for the Highway 34 bridge there. Going under 6th Street. We're about 3 blocks from the waterfront at this point.
Big guy came through.
Thank you, sir.
And now we start to curve, so we line up with the lake for a little bit, or with the river, what am I saying? That's the Mississippi there. And then there's a bit of a rail yard here. And you can see the bridge we're going to use there. This is my last meal on this train. Cheeseburger and lemon cake. This is also the Burlington Amtrak station. You can see the roofs there of the shelters over the couple of platforms they have. We're having an extended wait here at Burlington. Apparently there's 2 or 3 freight trains that are all well, they said snarled up, but probably just needing to be maneuvered down the tracks and out of the way and over the bridge and what have you. And we can't go until they're out of the way. We don't know how long that's going to be.
Hold on ahead.
So finally at 1:13 p.m. we're rolling again in Burlington, which would put us about 2 hours and 45 minutes behind schedule at this point. Most of that being due just to sitting here due to the freight train issue. I think we're good to go here because we're clearing the yard. I don't know if there's any other delays that we might encounter yet, but it appears we're going for the bridge at this point. This old bridge across the Mississippi for this freight line, we have to curve around the sewage treatment plant for Burlington. And there's a lift bridge at the first part of it, and then it's just a normal trestle bridge. It has the looks of a bridge that's been there a long time.
Con-Ed, I'm sorry. Is there anything that I can still help you with?
Hang out for a bit. We'll get the motor or another empty coming eventually. Then we'll hand us off the motor.
All right.
There's the Highway 34 bridge out of Burlington over to Illinois.
Hingal 113A. Okay, I'll get you put in hot train. Y'all have a safe day. Welcome, y'all be safe.
Approach 2 to 1.
Okay, now that we're in Illinois at 1:22 p.m., we just crossed over here at Burlington, and I already mentioned that we pretty much just make a beeline up to Chicago, a few slight twists and turns aside. One thing that's always interesting about these maps is when you see a road map and there's kind of a conspicuous set of diagonal roads for no apparent reason, like here or here or here, and then they kind of line up. There's a good chance that's because there's a railroad track running across there, and the roads may have come after the tracks, probably came after the tracks, so they run them diagonal in those areas. At 1:47 p.m. we're coming up on Kirkwood, Illinois. Highway 34 is continuing just off to our right, but we won't see it here because I'm on the left side of the train. Kirkwood's going to be just a little unincorporated town here, or unincorporated cluster of buildings, I think. Maybe this is a big enough town to be incorporated. Maybe. At 1:58 we just rolled into Monmouth, or Monmouth, Illinois. This is a bit more substantial sized town. It's got a grade school and everything. It's 2:22 p.m. and we are approaching Galesburg, which is a big railroad, kind of crossroads. Different railroads intersect and split out from Galesburg. And it's practically the only stop in Illinois, not counting Chicago and the suburb of Naperville, that I don't even think Naperville's a smoke stop. I think Galesburg is pretty much it.
1725D out.
And we're in Galesburg.
Approach.
Go ahead, PC, go ahead.
Guard control, Gallic ramp.
Okay, roger that. We'll get a signal, okay, on and off, top lead, and then signal back to the unit.
And around your general area, make sure you don't see anything behind. You can find a lot of headphones, you can find chargers, you can find wallets, passports. Please double check, triple check
Drive.
that you have all your belongings. Once you leave Galesburg, that's it. Might be hard to get your stuff back.
Stay on this channel. We're going 42, not bad. I'm gonna go check the water real quick,
If you are taking a fresh air break here, don't wander off into the ether. Please stay.
Okay, roger that. Let me know when you're ready.
Please stay very close by. Once you call all aboard, we expect all passengers to
Speed driver, over.
immediately. We're not waiting for people running down the street. Galesburg.
Nice looking station here.
Hey, can we get a ride? Conductor assist at North End, New Long View, please.
And they have a museum here.
Okie That's approaching the side.
And pulling out of Galesburg at 2:30. Should be 11:41. So we're in the ballpark of 3 hours later than scheduled.
Approach at bay. Approach at bay.
since there's a lot of train activity in Galesburg, and most of it's long freight trains, super long freight trains.
1905B.
I think practically every street in town is interrupted either like this or with a grade crossing where you'd have to wait a long time. There's that one street we just passed over that seems to have been set up as a thoroughfare to allow getting more or less from the center of town to the other side, even when trains are on the, I think, multiple tracks there. There's a couple of rails going the other way. And a couple more we just crossed at an oblique angle. And I think we're on a double rail here, at least. So they're predicting arriving in Chicago at 5:10 at this point. And when I did some math a little while ago, I figured I'd probably get there about 5:34. So probably somewhere in between those two numbers. Anyway, we're heading northeast from Galesburg, and Highway 34 goes up at the same angle because it follows the tracks. So that's US Highway 34 there, same one that we were next to all the way through Iowa, paralleling Highway 34 right next to it. Speed is 78 miles an hour at 257 pulling into Kewanee. At 3:44, we're just rolling through Mendota, a little farming town. Although they look like they had a carnival going, but I didn't get the camera out quickly enough. We rolled through Princeton earlier, but I was in the middle of a phone call that I received, so I didn't get the camera out for Princeton either. Anyway, so after Mendota, which is not a stop, but Mendota is, where's Mendota? Yeah, Mendota's right there. So shortly we're going to cross Highway 51 and then continue on up. Alright, we're rapidly approaching the crossing of US Highway 51, which is also Interstate I-39, which runs due south from Rockford. And there it is. .358 near the tiny little town of Leland. At 4:07, we're stopped just west of the town of Sandwich, Illinois, and we were stopped here on a siding. It's only a single rail at this point, apparently, so that our sister train, the westbound California Zephyr of today's departure, could pass us, and it did just before I had time to get the camera out. But it went by so fast it would have taken about 2 seconds anyhow. Going through Sandwich. At 427, we're on the outskirts of Aurora, Illinois. And there's the part of the Fox River, I think. Although it splits into several different channels in this area, so that wasn't the whole thing. And so we're in Aurora now. I don't think we stop here. Should just keep rolling. So those are, I think, Metro tracks down there. But I think we merge with those up ahead.
Five.
70 miles an hour. 434 entering Naperville. Some sort of little parade there. Naperville. 440 pulling out of Naperville. Looks like one of those old warehouses that's been turned into apartments or offices or something. .450 Westmont. This is Hinsdale, Illinois. I'm not sure what our speed is, but it's probably a good 70 miles an hour. Everything's put away, so I don't have my GPS out. This is Interstate I-294, which is the Chicago bypass for I-94. This is LaGrange. Sure why they have a image of a porpoise, a bottlenose dolphin on their tank. I wouldn't think those are usually found in brooks unless they're alluding to the Brookfield Zoo. I didn't think they had dolphins there, but maybe they do. I don't know. Berwyn. Cicero. And there in the distance is the skyline of Chicago, partially clouded in. Well, I think this qualifies as Chicago. taller buildings are in the clouds.
So, ladies and gentlemen, if you look off to the left-hand side of the train, you'll see the Windy City skyline. Can't see all of the Willis Tower. Look like we got a lot of clouds out this evening. I'd like to be the first to welcome you to Chicago, the Windy City. On board service, please make sure you check the crew refrigerator. Thank you for a well done job to the west. Thank God for a safe trip to the west and back east. Enjoy your time off, love your family, and we'll see you on the next trip. Here we go.
So we're coming in on the southwest corner of the downtown area, and then we'll make a curve and go up north into Union Station. So we're crossing under Interstate I-90 here. The south end of the Kennedy Expressway and the north end of the Dan Ryan Expressway. The tall black building with its head in the clouds is what they like to call the Willis Tower, and I still call the Sears Tower.
Once again, everyone, please stay in your seats at this time. Do not come down to the bottom of the view of the four stairwells. And so we can make a complete stop at Union Station.
And this is the rail yard south of Union Station.
attention OBS. This is the 540 attendant Greg. You don't have to wait for me as far as the shuttle goes. I have a little bit more work to do, so if they come and I'm not there, go ahead and leave me. I appreciate it. Thanks.
And the platforms at Union Station are underground with short skyscrapers above us and streets for the length of a few blocks. This is coming into the South Concourse.
Hey, Ken, me too. Same thing goes with me. Above down. Good. Don't wait for me. We'll catch the next one. Thank you. Okay, no problem, guys.
Oh, they opened a part of it up. It's a new one on me. And there's a similar set of platforms on the north side of the station called the North Concourse. Well, the concourse goes to the platforms. They're not the same thing. Here we are. Time is 5:14 p.m. That's a bunch of people from our train who missed their connections due to our train being in so late. Over here should be a ticket office for Metro. Well, the head came out of the clouds at least a little bit. Got the ledge out, all 5 of them. Viewers want to know about my meals. Not a meal, but a nuggets.